noble and perfectly enlightened one. Homage to the blessed, noble and perfectly enlightened one.
Buddham saranam gacchami.
Buddham saranam gacchami.
Dhammam saranam gacchami.
Dhammam saranam gacchami.
Sangham saranam gacchami.
Sangham saranam gacchami.
Meaning together. To the Buddha I go for refuge. To the Dhamma I go for refuge. To the Sangha I go for refuge. Let's repeat after me. Duteyampi Buddham saranam gacchami.
Dutiyampi Buddham saranam gacchami.
Duteyampi Dhammam saranam gacchami.
Dutiyampi Dhammam saranam gacchami.
Duteyampi Sangham saranam gacchami.
Dutiyampi Sangham saranam gacchami.
For the second time to the Buddha I go for refuge. For the second time to the Dhamma I go for refuge. For the second time to the Sangha I go for refuge. Tathayampi Buddham saranam gacchami.
Tathayampi Buddham saranam gacchami.
Tathayampi Dhammam saranam gacchami.
Tathayampi Dhammam saranam gacchami.
Tathayampi Sangham saranam gacchami.
Tathayampi Sangham saranam gacchami.
For the third time to the Buddha I go for refuge. For the third time to the Dhamma I go for refuge. For the third time to the Sangha I go for refuge. Tisarana gamanam nichetam. 88 precepts. Please repeat after me. Parnate pata veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Parnatipata veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
I undertake the precept to refrain from taking the life of any living creature. Adinnādāna veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Adinnādāna veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
I undertake the precept to refrain from taking that which is not given. Abrahmacharya veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Abrahmacharya veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
I undertake the precept to refrain from any intentional sexual activity. Musavada I undertake the precept to refrain from lying. Sura meraya majjapama dattana veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Suramerayam Majjhamadana Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami.
I undertake the precept to refrain from consuming intoxicating drink and drugs which lead to carelessness. Vikala bhojana veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Vikala Bhojana Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami.
I undertake the precept to refrain from eating at inappropriate times. Natya Gita Valita Visuka Rasana Mala Nanda Vilepana Dharana Mangana Vibhosana Dhana Veramani Sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Nashabita Sukadasana Nalaganda Vilepana Karanamana Sanatana Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami.
I undertake the precept to refrain from entertainment, purification, and adornment. Ucca sayana mahasayana veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Uccasayana Mahasayana Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami.
I undertake the precept to refrain from lying on a high or luxurious sleeping place. Imani adha sikkhapadani samadhiyami.
Imaniyata Sikkhapadani Samadhiyami. Imaniyata Sikkhapadani Samadhiyami. Imaniyata Sikkhapadani Samadhiyami.
I undertake these 8 precepts. I undertake these 8 precepts. I undertake these 8 precepts. Imani adha sikkhapadani. Please repeat.
Imaniyata Sikkhapadani.
Silena sugatim yanti.
Silena Sugatim Yanti.
Silena bhoga sampada.
Silena Bhoga Sampada.
Silena nibhutim yanti.
Silena Nibhutim Yanti.
Tasma silam visodhaye.
Tasma Silam Visodhaye.
These are the 8 precepts. Virtue is the source of happiness. Virtue is the source of true wealth. Virtue is the source of peacefulness. Therefore, let virtue be purified. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. your back straight and head also straight. Keep one palm on the other and rest them on your lap. You can also rest them on your knees if you are more comfortable with it. Straightening back and the head is useful for our respiratory system to smoothly function. And then we gently and compassionately close our eyes. And then let us take a good long deep breath and hold it for a few seconds, like 10 seconds. And then slowly release. Let's do it together. And then slowly release and relax. Breathe through the nostrils and breathe out also through the nostrils. Let's do it one more time. Breathe in and breathe out together through the nostrils. One more time. Deep, long breath. And then slowly, step by step, release and relax. Let's raise our shoulders with a long deep breath and hold it for a few seconds. Raise both your shoulders and hold it for a few seconds. And then drop it suddenly. With the exhale. Do it one more time. Raise your shoulders, hold it for a while and drop suddenly. With the exhale. One more time. These are probably our only intentional breathing. Right now we are going to focus on our natural breathing. It is just to relax your body and also to relax your mind, just to settle ourselves into meditation and mode. Now let us focus on our breathing. Observe the breathing. Breathing in and breathing out. To help ourselves concentrate, focus on one object at a time. The incoming air touches the nostril before entering the body, so that is our entry point. So we focus on that. When we breathe out, the outgoing air touches the upper lip. So we can feel the sensation over there too. Let's recognize this sensation. point and exit point. How do you feel when you breathe in and breathe out? Just recognize, identify your natural breathing as and when it happens. Recognize whether it is a short breath or a long breath. When we close our eyes, we can also hear a lot of outside noises. That is very natural, so don't get disturbed. Just recognize them also from time to time and come back to meditation. The idea here is to focus on our breath, to sharpen our concentration. Remember to let it happen naturally. All the breathing is natural, no intentional breathing. At the beginning you might get some long breaths and later it might be shorter when you are settling into your meditation. If you can also feel the sensation when you breathe in. What sensation do you have at the nostril area when you breathe in? Try to see, try to observe, try to recognize where does it touch, which point of nostril does it touch before entering the body. When you breathe out, somewhere in the middle of the upper lip, just recognize, identify, observe it. The incoming air has oxygen, so it might be some cooling sensation. See if you can recognize that too. The outgoing air is usually a little warm because of the carbon dioxide. So the inside toxic is released through the outgoing air. incoming oxygen cleanses, helps cleanse our inside respiratory system. And we need to focus on the nostril and the upper lip only. If you can fix your attention to every single breath, to the nostril, to the upper lip, to the nostril, to the upper lip, to the nostril, to the upper lip. Be very close. Let us try not to miss any of the breathing. Breathe in and breathe out. We recognize all of them. When your body and mind is calm, you might feel very subtle sensation of the breathing. So you need to observe it very carefully, mindfully. Five more minutes in silence. Let us meditate along on our own, trying to focus on every single breath, trying not to move the body, remain calm and remain quiet, trying to identify every single breath in and out. observing the movement of the palms and also feeling the sensation, recognizing the sensation. See how your body moves, see how you generate the warmth. And then when you feel warmth in your palms, take a good long deep breath and place them on your eyes. Till it closed eyes and then slowly release and relax. Keep your eyes closed and keep your palms close together, close to your heart, and say 3 times. Sadhu. Please open your eyes gently and compassionately and with a positive energy and with a looking at the right side of the world. Did you see any color when you keep your palms on your eyes? Yes? What color did you see?
Purple.
Yeah?
Purple?
Purple?
Purple.
Blue? Okay, yeah. Good. Alright, so today on this particular day, like when we observed 8 precepts, this is the first step in our spiritual journey. First step is the sila or the morality, and the second step is the samadhi and the concentration, and that's what we were doing. When we are calm and peaceful in our body and mind, how do you feel? You feel good, and it's easier to concentrate, right? And that is where we can take some good decisions. In our life also, sometimes when you are panicked, don't take decisions. It's very good if you can do a little bit of meditation, and during that calm and peaceful state, you can take decisions. Very good. If you are doing business or if you are doing any other thing in your life, and also like life-changing situations can be there, even in day-to-day, like simple decision-making things. I recommend you do it during your meditation time, and you will also feel that much more perfect. Like you feel I took the right decision. Yeah, so sila is really important. Sometimes your sitting can go wrong. Maybe you don't like do it well in some sessions. Then maybe you can go back to your sila. Maybe observe this precept again and think of it. And when we observe the 8 precepts, for example, now we observe the 8 precepts at 1 o'clock. I'm sure you did not break any of the sila so far. So far, so good, right? So, until we release the 8 precepts, then we make sure we do not break the sila. So, killing living beings or hurting anyone and practicing our loving kindness is a really wonderful thing. And then taking things not given, or what we call stealing. It's even going a little bit ahead, I think, when we say not taking things and taking things not given. If you are not offered something you don't take, that's really difficult. And that's why the monks, they always are offered their alms food and the other things also. At the temple you must have seen a small sign like not yet offered and offered, right? So I think it helps them practice their sila. And also whenever there is something that doesn't belong to you, so you hesitate to take it, you hesitate to touch it. That really makes you very virtuous person, and also you become a very reliable, sincere, honest person. And when you practice loving kindness, you will become a very peaceful person yourself, and you will also make sure that you give a guarantee to other people that they are safe with you. It's really very important, that sense of security with you. You can make sure you are not harmful, you are not violent, you are peaceful, calm, kind and compassionate. That gives us so much good energy, and even the animals can feel it. Even the nature can feel it. So the other fellow human beings can also feel it. So practicing these silas are really important therefore. And the third one we already observed was again a little bit more advanced compared to the 5 precepts, right? So in the 5 precepts you say, I observe the sila, not to break the sila, not to indulge in what do you call it, kamesu michachara, veramani sikkhapadan samadhiyami, not to indulge in sexual misconduct. So still as a family, you are okay, but you are not doing anything wrong. Sexual misconduct is what the Buddha has prohibited from any layperson also doing. And in Artha Sila or 8 precepts, we completely avoid that even any kind of sexual activity, intentional sexual activity. That's also even more difficult. And so, like the monks and nuns, we practice celibacy. And once you decide, you determine yourself, you really are dedicated, you are committed to do so. And a lot of people also think like sexual or sensual pleasures are really, really very good and comfortable and feeling pleasure, but it's not really lasting for too long. But the kind of happiness, the kind of rapture, the joy that you have when you practice sila, when you practice meditation, is 1,000 times much more powerful than any of these silas, any of these sensual pleasures. That's why sometimes, once in a while, if you practice this sila, it also brings you a very wonderful positive energy. And then the fourth one is about the lying. You're not going to tell lies. Very easy today, I tell you. Very easy. If you don't talk anything, you keep quiet today and you don't tell lies. That's the easiest one, I think. So I'm the one who is more, I have to be more careful because I'm the one who do the talking. that you can generate through that. People will believe in you, people will trust in you, and you are very sincere and honest person. And it is said the Buddha as a Bodhisattva, during his entire paramita period, he has never told a lie. He must have done some other things, but he has never told a lie because he was very honest and sincere, he said. So those people, it is also said in the sutta, those who, I remember like when we were little, young children, our parents, our grandparents, they used to say, don't tell lies. Why? Because your mouth will stink. That's what they said. So we were very scared to tell lies. It's really very important because when you start telling a lie and when you making a habit of it, um, you always want to tell lies if you make a habit. There are people who always want to tell lies, but there are people who never want to tell lies. And in Buddhism, we have something called noble silence. The Buddha said if you don't have to share anything like related to something meaningful, and then better not say anything, just keep quiet. Because when we keep quiet, we also can have the opportunity to talk to ourselves, talk to your inner self, uh, build that internal dialogue with you. That's again very important. We are so busy talking, we are busy engaging, looking at the world outside. Also, when we talk, it is said we, in this precept actually, if we go to further classification, there are 4 kinds of verbal activities that we have to be careful of. One is musavada, that is false speech, and then the other one is pisunavacha, that is slandering, and the third one, like you see someone, good friends or something, you feel jealous of them, try to, break that friendship apart. There are people like that. You don't like them doing good or being good friends. You also try to make a bad impression about each other. So that's again a bad karma, pollution of your mind. And the other one is harsh speech, harusavacha. Hurt the other people when you say something. If you use certain words to hurt other people, that is also bad karma again. And the fourth one is, I think, even more difficult one, like skipping, avoiding the gossip, which is naturally like we humans, we like to talk to each other, we like to, share so many things, and this can be mostly gossip. Unnecessary speeches, what we call. So those sampapalapa, we also again have to be careful. Remember these 4 speeches. Even if we like sit quietly and do not go here and there, but this little mouth, if we open, we can do all the 4 wrong things, right? So in practicing, we work against them. That is why we say Vedamani. Vedamani means avoiding or abstaining. Abstaining from doing these things are really important. So abstaining, in Buddhism we have so many things like abstaining. So abstaining from these verbal misconduct is really important for our sila. And when you do that, you feel good energy. It is easier for you to concentrate. It is easier for you to meditate, and then it is easier for you to take good decisions. And that helps you gain wisdom, right? Knowledge or wisdom. called Panya. So these Sila, Samadhi and Panya, they go together. And the fifth Sila is, do you remember the fifth Sila? I had I assume also explained today. Yeah? Yeah. Yes, intoxication. Right? Drinks and drugs that cause intoxication or heedlessness. So we have to be careful too. Today I'm sure you are not going to break this up. Because I will watch you. I see only water bottles. So that is fine. Right. So this thing, it's very interesting actually. In the five precepts we have that Sura Mere Majapama Ratana as the fifth one. So some people say, oh, it is the fifth one, the last one, so it's okay. But if you pay attention to that, the fifth one can actually inspire to break all the other sinners. Right? So you get kind of motivation to hurt others, to steal, and also to people do so many wrong activities with the sila, third precept, and also telling lies can also be done. So although it is placed fifth, it looks like innocent, but it's not. So they can be mutually helpful to each other. Like if you are very kind, compassionate, you might not break the second sila, you might not break the third sila, you might not break the fourth and the fifth sila. So they can be mutually helpful, really, really important. And in your life, if you keep doing these things, you will see that you are also inspiring other people. Your family members can notice a drastic difference, improvement in your lifestyle. You have changed for the better. Your attitudes have changed, your lifestyle has changed, and so the people will notice it. And they will recognize, oh, my mom is so kind nowadays. Oh, my dad is also very patient, not like before. So you will see your family members, your children, your siblings, and also your neighbors, maybe your co-workers also can recognize it. So there should be something different in your lifestyle actually for the better. Your attitude, you're very calm, very peaceful, very patient, and those things are really important outcomes of practicing Sila. So as I mentioned, this is very not so easy to practice all the time, but if you make it a habit, it is also not impossible, still possible. And why do we have to skip Vikala Bhojana? Vikala Bhojana, the sixth sila, not taking food at inappropriate time. What do you think? Why is it important? Any idea? It's really helpful actually, because the more we eat, the more toxic we become. The food actually we eat, you get fat, you get cholesterol, you get blood sugar, all these things because of the food, right? But if you eat less, in fact, it's really helpful. Like the monks take sometimes once a day, sometimes twice a day. Like afternoon, they don't take any solid food. That helps them maintain good health. Uh, so I think practicing this fasting is prescribed in other religions too, right? Like Islam people also practice, Hindu people practice. Do we have it in Christianity also, fasting? Yes. So every religion, they know it's important, right? So we have to be careful of not only what we take in through the mouth, but also we take out through the mouth. That is the verbal misconduct. So both in and out, right? Food intake and words outgoing. So these things we have to take care of that. So in Sri Lanka we have a saying, as for in Sinhala, I will say it in Sinhala first. Kata Vatakara better than that. Kata Vatakara better than that. Kata Vatakara better than that. That means you can have a fence all around your country, but it is so difficult to have a fence around your mouth. Yeah, you can have a wall, right? Very long, tall walls you can have around the country, but it's difficult to have a wall around your mouth. It's tough. So that's why we need the sealer to practice ourselves. And then so taking less food is helpful because if you eat a lot, then you feel drowsy, you feel sleepy, then you feel heavy. It's difficult to meditate, and you can sit hours and hours without any difficulty. It's just a matter of getting used to it. Like if you skip dinner, it's so good. There is another there is another saying. I don't know if you have it. Like the morning breakfast should be like the king's food, right? Do you have it in English? Yeah. How do you call it?
Oh, in the morning eat like a prince, and in the evening eat like a pauper.
Oh, okay. What does pompa mean?
Pauper means like a poor person.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So we say the morning we eat like a king, and in the lunch we eat like a minister, and in the night we eat like a beggar. Or you give it to your enemy. your dinner, your dinner you offer it to an enemy because it's not good. Yeah. So food also can be a very, very interesting thing, right? So today we had Sri Lankan food, and today we had Indian food, American food, so many. So you want to also taste different tastes. What would it be like? And then you want to go to this restaurant, that restaurant. You are really interested in going to, So sometimes, like the whole night you are planning which one you should go next. So it's like endless. You want to taste so many different. But when we go inside, it's just a matter of 6 inches. From lip to 6 inches here, after that you don't feel anything. Right? So within these 6 inches you are trying to gratify your sensual pleasures. Right? And then after that you don't even want to think of that food anymore. Or it's like so yucky, you don't want to think of it. So it is really interesting that way. And the seventh feeler, we said, do you remember the seventh feeler? You have to remember, otherwise you might break it. I'm reminding you one by one actually. So seventh feeler is Mala, Gandha, Vilepana, Dharana, Mandana, Vibhusana, Adhana, Veramani. Right? I think the translation is not given the whole thing. Certain words were missing. Mara is all the purification, all the ornaments, the chains, everything, bracelet, everything. I remember when we were little, we go to the temple every full moon day because in Sri Lanka it's a public bank and mercantile holiday, even if it is in the middle of a week, so it's a holiday. So people have the chance to go to the temple. And so our grandparents and our parents, we all go to the temple. We wear white clothes, and then we go to the temple, and our mother and all, they make sure they remove all the earrings, chains, everything. Just simple. Sometimes, it's also very nice. And nowadays it is even better for your safety. Because the more those decorated things you wear, you are at great danger of being robbed. And even more dangerous to have duplicate chains and all. Because people don't know, like the people who snatch them, they might think it is genuine, and they might harm you. So it's good to be away from them. So you are poor, you don't have anything, they will come, you will have nothing, so they will go away. Yeah. So once in a while, to practice away from those makeup and all the other things, will give you some original feel of it. Today I'm original after a long time. You will feel that. Like these months, we don't make up, so it's very easy for us. Nothing to comb. Very easy, very simple. For you have to go in front of the mirror. You have to do so many things. Take such a long time. So once in a while, take a break, and it will be good for you. Yeah. And then the other thing is, it talks about actually our own ego. Um, Initially, it attacks our ego because we want to show off our ego. We build up our ego unintentionally. And so we want to show off with good clothes and impressive lifestyle, luxurious ornaments and all that stuff, right? And even perfume, you want to impress the other people around. So it's kind of psychology or self-identity and also our ego. So when we become simple, very humble, you actually become more closer to the Mother Earth. And we also sit here on the floor. Look how wonderful to be seated on the floor. And together in the natural air, it's really, really nice. That's why we have to practice these silas. So from time to time, if you do it, you will feel that there is something in it, and you will feel very happy about that. And then the last one is high and luxurious seats. And during that time, we don't use those luxurious seats and chairs and all the other things that make you much more lavish and comfortable. I think when I sit on those, luxurious seats, I feel really not so comfortable, to be honest, because I cannot keep my back straight, and I feel like this or I feel like this. So it's kind of difficult for me, even difficult to eat sitting on those chairs. So yeah, so it's good to be here. So you see now simplicity and humbleness, they are very important in our practice. And when you do that, it's also easier for us to practice our sila and meditate. And the other thing is letting things go or renouncing. Renunciation is a really wonderful practice. Are you comfortable with the sun? Okay? Yeah, if you like to come, maybe you can come if it is too hard. Okay. Because you also have to be comfortable, everyone. Maybe we can. Yeah,
If you want, you're welcome to move there.
Yeah, you can sit over there anyway. You don't have to move. This practice of sila, why we do that, and once in a while why we need to do that, it really helps us maintain good health, maintain inner peace, and also become better human beings. I think it's really important. All these silas can be practiced by anyone, right? You don't have to be convict, what do you call it? Registered Buddhist to do that. Yeah, everyone can do that, and these are really helpful. Now we know why it is so useful and helpful to all of us. And that's why the Buddha said these 5 precepts, for example, that should be practiced by all the lay people. And this is called Panchasila. And 8 precepts, once in a while also can be those 3 extra precepts. And then it can also go to 10 if you want, and that will be even more practicing renunciation. So letting things go, and so sometimes away from our difficult or challenging, busy life schedule, you feel so peaceful and happy when you have no access to those things. So it's very good. I think in our, if the Buddha was there today, I think he would also recommend not to use this electronic equipment. That can be the 11th sin, I think. So all these things can actually make us helpful. Sometimes at your home you can also have a separate room for meditation. You can have a place where you can sit on the floor, you know. Sometimes you need to sit on the floor. It's really helpful and useful, except the people who have difficulties in sitting the floor, but for the other people they can do that. And it really helps us. It makes our connection to the Mother Earth more better, right? So this is why we practice 8 precepts. And today you were solemnly declaring that you are going to practice this thing. You said, I undertake these 8 precepts, not once but twice you said that. And also, if you break it, that will be Musavada. So at the end, you also said these are the 8 precepts. Virtue is the source of happiness. Virtue is the source of true wealth. Yeah, this is the best wealth we can have. Because the person who practices sila is very confident. So her self-confidence can really go up when you practice sila. Virtue is the source of peacefulness. You also feel peaceful. Therefore, let virtue be purified. Tasma sila visodhi. That is why we call sila, and that is why we need to practice sila. Okay? Yeah. Any questions so far? Yes.
How old were you when you were ordained? I'm saying you've been a monk longer than many of us have been alive. I don't think you look that old.
I was 11.
And how long have you been a monk?
Sorry?
How long have you been a monk?
40 years?
No worries.
40 years as a man, now I am 51.
Would not have guessed.
Yeah. Yeah, I was very happy actually. It's like tradition in our country. One out of every family at least, become a monk, even for a short time. Yeah, we had a big family anyway. We had 4 siblings, 4 sisters and 3 brothers. Yeah, so one goes to the sasana to take care of the sasana. one go to the army to take care of the borders of the country, and one goes to the paddy field and do the cultivation, and the daughters take care of the household chores. That was actually a typical Sri Lankan culture too. But I think later on it became to like smaller and smaller families, and now we don't have like only two children mostly. Yeah, so they don't want to become monks because 50-50. Yeah, those days we had enough children. Finally, somebody can sacrifice. And even for a while, if you become a monk or a nun, I think it's really good. In Thailand, even the king becomes a monk for a while, including the king himself, because they have to undergo that training in order to survive the storm to come up later on, right? You have to expect so many challenges living with another person. It's not easy. And also, if you want to live the rest of your life with somebody else, maybe this training can be helpful. You practice patience, you practice loving kindness, you practice generosity, you practice all these sila, can be helpful. That is why it's very important to become a monk. In Thailand, they have temporary ordination for many people. But in Sri Lanka, it's not called actually temporary ordination. Once we become monk, we normally don't disrobe, but there can be, due to certain situations, people can still disrobe. I felt I was very comfortable. I felt it was very good. Although my sister said, "Don't go to the temple. It's very hard lifestyle there." I said, "Okay." And I remember some of the other young monks, like my same age, other people, other small boys. When they came to the temple, they were crying. They wanted to go back home. At the beginning you feel okay, but after a few days you remember your parents and everything, and you don't have them anymore, and they used to start crying. So it takes a while. But surprisingly, it never ever occurred to me. When I came to the temple, I was already settled. I never once felt that homesick. Yeah, never. I didn't have that thing. That's why when I went to other countries also, I didn't have that homesick problem. I think it's yeah, because we absorbed that energy better. We adjusted to that situation better because we had. I felt like I had more parents at the temple. Like the entire community would be like my mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters. So I never felt lonely. They were so kind and they were taking care of us. Even as very little young monks, it was easier for us to survive. We had the loving kindness, compassion. Like you can see people like Champika and Vedanta, those some people, they are so very kind like mothers. Always bring a lot of food, but we have to be careful though. Yeah, so I think with the community, it's not difficult. Yeah, it's also like renouncing your life because you are sacrificing for the well-being and happiness of the many. We sacrifice our own happiness maybe, our own sensual pleasures for the well-being and happiness of the many, and we feel so good about it. A lot of people are benefited. It's really good. Yeah. So I'm pretty happy about that situation, and hopefully we can do even more better. And yeah, to be here also was very wonderful. Okay. Yeah.
So in this environment, it feels like keeping the precepts is, I can have noble silence, I don't have to have harsh speech. tomorrow go to work. Lots of harsh speech, so how do we and not all people are keeping the precepts or thinking about even the idea of the precepts. So as people who keep the precepts or want to keep the precepts in our lives, how do we think about interacting with people outside, maybe when they aren't, or when there's conflict?
Yeah, I understand that situation. It's always challenging. That's why we come to the temple to practice. This is the theory. you learn the theory, you have to apply it in the greater society. It can be, it can change from place to place, but it takes a while. You go to the office, you right away, you complete upside down.
Right.
It would be difficult, but you keep doing it. You keep practicing it. And then you will notice yourself, I'm much more patient than before. I'm much more kind-hearted than before. I'm also taking good decisions than before. You will recognize the change in yourself. So you have to be confident first in yourself. Because if you don't have that inner peace, inner confidence, you cannot really practice there. So later on, you will survive any storm, right? Later on, you will be able to do that. So keep practicing. From time to time, you come to the temple or at home also you can do it. And think of this sila, how important it is. And it becomes a part of you. And every time you are going to tell a lie, you will have an internal knock, knock, knock. Don't tell lies. Yeah, you will feel that. It is not impossible, but it takes a while, yes. It takes a while. And other people will also be inspired by your change, your transformation. They will see my supervisor is very kind, very patient. He has changed nowadays. People give good credit to you, good reviews, 5-star. Yeah, and especially with the people who are dealing with the public, restaurants and other places where you are constantly talking to people. You might meet many people who have so many different mentalities. They might be aggressive, they might be neutral, many different people can be there. But you as a person who have practiced, you can deal with them with much more peaceful and calm and confident mindset. Yeah, never underestimate the practice of sila. That will help you in every strata of your life. Yeah, wherever you go, you will see this amazing practice of sila help you all the time. Yeah. Any other question? Right. So, do you need a break? Or should we go for a walk outside? Yeah? You want to go for a walking meditation? As we have been sitting for a while. Maybe let us stand up, maybe go around. Okay. So let's go for a walk and I think it will be useful.